If a girl changes this in front of you, she likes you. Psychology facts about women, psychology tricks. Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Seneca. Most men miss this because they're looking for a confession, not a pattern. But when a woman starts to like you, she rarely announces it. She adjusts, quietly, almost unconsciously. Not in a dramatic movie scene way, more like her behavior starts editing itself around you. And if you've ever sensed a shift between you and her, like the air got warmer but you couldn't explain why, you're not crazy. That feeling is usually your instincts picking up on small changes before your brain can label them. Here's the truth. When you begin to matter to her, she starts making little moves that make you easier to be close to. She might change how she positions herself when you're talking. She might soften her tone or slow down, or suddenly care a lot more about how a moment lands with you. Sometimes she becomes more aware of her appearance, fixing her hair, adjusting her clothes, checking her reflection, without even realizing she's doing it because you're there. Sometimes she changes what she talks about, less random noise, more personal details, more "this is who I am" energy. And sometimes the biggest change isn't what she does, it's what she stops doing. She stops being careless with your attention. She stops treating you like background. A woman doesn't usually decide to do these things like a strategy. It's automatic. It's emotional gravity. When someone starts to matter, you naturally start protecting the connection, your body language, your words, your timing, your effort. So if you learn to spot these shifts, you stop guessing, you stop overthinking, and you stop living in that confusing space where you're asking, does she like me? While she's already showing you, just not with a speech. And once you learn to recognize those changes, you won't have to wonder where you stand with her again. 1. She adjusts her speaking pace to match yours. When a woman begins to feel drawn to you, one of the earliest and most overlooked signals shows up not in what she says, but in how she says it. And that signal is her speaking pace quietly shifting to match yours. At first, you might not notice it because the change is subtle, gradual, almost invisible unless you know where to look. But over time, something feels different in the rhythm of your conversations. She may have once spoken faster than you, or slower, or with a cadence that felt entirely her own. Yet now her words seem to arrive in sync with yours, landing with a sense of flow that wasn't there before. That is not coincidence, and it is not strategy. This is female psychology at work on a level most men never consider. When attraction begins to form, the nervous system naturally seeks harmony, and one of the fastest ways the brain builds emotional safety is by mirroring patterns, especially speech tempo. If you speak calmly and deliberately, she slows herself without realizing it. If you speak with energy and momentum, she subtly picks up the pace. Don't mistake this for imitation. Be clear, this is not performance. That is her mind reducing resistance and increasing comfort, using the most efficient tool it has. That is why this detail matters so much in psychology tricks related to connection and bonding. Watch closely and you'll see the deeper sign. When you pause, she pauses too. When you speed through a thought, she keeps up. When you soften your tone, her delivery follows. Her rhythm is no longer independent. It has adjusted to yours, and that shift signals growing emotional alignment. Most men miss this entirely because they focus on the content of the conversation instead of the structure of it. But structure reveals intent long before words do. This is one of the clearest indicators in female psychology that interest is forming beneath the surface. Don't rush to label it. Don't overreact. Simply observe and understand what is happening. That is how to fall in love with clarity instead of confusion. When you recognize these subtle cues, you stop guessing and start seeing patterns, and patterns are far more reliable than compliments or sudden enthusiasm. Be grounded. Be present. Let the rhythm guide you. Psychology tricks like this are not about control. They are about awareness. The more you understand how to fall in love through emotional synchronization, the less you rely on hope and the more you rely on insight. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it, because attraction often speaks first through timing, not words, and this quiet alignment is often the foundation for everything that follows. 2. She starts leaving small gaps in her stories for you to fill. This is where most men unknowingly step out of the moment. She's telling you about her weekend, describing a scene, a feeling, a moment, and then right in the middle, she stops. Not awkwardly, not because she lost her train of thought. She pauses, looks at you, and waits. That pause is not empty. It's an invitation. Most guys miss it completely. They nod. They say yeah or uh-huh. And just like that, the door quietly closes. But understand what is really happening here. In female psychology, those small narrative gaps are intentional, even if she isn't consciously aware of them. She's testing whether you'll step into her story with her or stand outside it like an observer. When a woman leaves space in her storytelling, she's offering co-authorship. She wants to know if you'll ask the question she's hoping for, if you'll notice the detail she left hanging, if you'll meet her halfway instead of letting her do all the emotional work. Don't rush past this moment. Be present. That is where connection either deepens or fades. This is intimacy disguised as conversation. She's handing you the thread and watching closely to see if you'll pull it. When you do, when you say, wait, what happened next? Or, hold on, why did she say that? Something shifts. She feels it instantly. You're no longer just listening to her life. You're participating in it. That is the behavior of a high-value man, and it's one of the quiet ways men attract women without trying to impress or perform. You must understand this. Masculine energy is not about talking more or leading forcefully. It's about stepping forward at the right moment with calm confidence. When you recognize these gaps and step into them naturally, you communicate emotional awareness, curiosity, and presence. Those traits signal safety and strength at the same time. This is why men who understand how to attract women rarely chase attention. They respond to invitations others overlook. Don't overthink it. Don't freeze. Be engaged. When you meet her in that pause, she doesn't just feel heard, she feels chosen. And that distinction changes how she sees you moving forward, because masculine energy, when grounded and attentive, turns simple conversation into shared experience, and shared experience is where attraction quietly grows. 3. She changes where she places her belongings when you're around. When a woman changes where she places her belongings in front of you, that is not random behavior. That is psychology in motion. And if you miss it, you miss one of the cleanest signals of genuine interest you will ever see. Because objects are not just objects, they are extensions of personal boundaries. As Carl Jung once said, the unconscious mind speaks in symbols long before it speaks in words, which is exactly what is happening here. Sit with her at a cafe, a dinner table, or any quiet shared space, and watch closely. When she is not interested, her belongings act like quiet guards. Her phone stays face up between you as a distraction and a shield. Her bag stays close like a divider. Her keys stay clutched or hidden, not because she planned it, but because her mind is protecting her space without her permission. Yet when attraction begins to grow, those same items begin to move, slowly, naturally, almost invisibly. The phone turns face down or disappears entirely. The bag slides away, opening the space between you. The keys drift toward your side of the table. This is not strategy or manipulation. This is her subconscious removing obstacles between herself and the man she feels safe leaning toward. Because interest does not rush forward with words. It clears paths with behavior. This is where old Stoic wisdom matters, because a man with an iron mind does not chase signals. He observes patterns. He does not interrupt the moment. He allows it to reveal itself. As Marcus Aurelius taught, you have power over your mind, not outside events, meaning your strength comes from calm awareness, not reaction. In modern life, where attention is fragmented and noise is constant, the man who notices these small shifts stands apart. Attraction often whispers before it ever speaks. When her belongings move closer to you instead of guarding her space, that is her inner world saying the walls are lowering, trust is forming, and comfort is growing. Do not rush, do not test, do not pressure, hold your frame, stay grounded, stay present. This is how Stoicism plays out in real relationships, not through force, but through patience and perception, because the man who masters himself naturally draws others in. This is why old Stoic wisdom remains undefeated. It teaches you to see clearly without needing validation, to stand steady without needing proof, and to let interest come to you rather than chasing it. If you live this way with an iron mind, calm posture, and disciplined attention, you will notice that life itself starts opening spaces for you. Not just women, but opportunities, respect, and momentum. Because the same rule applies everywhere. What feels safe and strong attracts. What tries too hard repels. Remember that, live it, and let the details do the talking. 4. She alters how loudly she laughs depending on your proximity. When a woman alters how loudly she laughs depending on your proximity, that is not coincidence. That is communication. And if you are not listening for it, you will miss one of the most revealing psychology tricks rooted deep in female psychology. Because sound is one of the oldest social signals we have, and laughter, in particular, is rarely neutral. Picture this clearly. She is across the room, laughing with someone else, relaxed, casual, unfiltered. Then you step closer, and something subtle but precise changes. The volume adjusts, the rhythm tightens, the tone becomes brighter. Most men overlook it because they are watching faces instead of listening for patterns. Do not make that mistake. Be attentive. Be present. Because when she is attracted, her laugh is calibrated. Not exaggerated, not forced. Calibrated to reach you when you are nearby, then softened when you are right next to her, because she wants to draw you in without pushing you away. That is how to fall in love without words, through emotional signaling that feels natural and safe. This is not conscious performance. This is instinct. Her body is advertising enjoyment in your direction, quietly saying, "Notice me. Associate me with warmth. Remember this feeling." As Maya Angelou wisely said, people will never forget how you made them feel, which is exactly why her laugh becomes a tool of emotional placement, not for the room, not for attention, but for you. This is where psychology tricks become powerful when understood correctly, because the man who understands female psychology does not interrupt the moment. He does not comment on it. He does not smirk or tease. He stays grounded. He lets the signal breathe. Don't rush to respond. Don't try to match her energy too quickly. Don't call it out. That is how you break the spell. Instead, be calm, be steady, be receptive. Because the contrast between her expressive warmth and your composed presence creates emotional gravity, and that is how to fall in love without effort, through polarity that feels safe and familiar. You must understand this clearly. Attraction often announces itself through sound before words, through tone before touch, through laughter before language. In modern social spaces filled with noise and distraction, the man who listens instead of reacts stands apart. Repetition reveals truth. If you notice her laugh consistently shift when you enter her space, grow audible when you are near but not engaged, soften when you are close, and carry a different texture than the one she gives others, that is not randomness. That is interest forming. Be disciplined enough to observe it. Be confident enough not to chase it. Be wise enough to let it come to you. Because psychology tricks only work when paired with patience, female psychology rewards awareness, and how to fall in love starts not with persuasion, but with perception. So listen closely next time, not with your ego, but with your attention, because the signal is already there, waiting for the man who knows how to hear it. If this resonates with you, drop a comment right now and write, "I notice what others miss." Like this video, subscribe for more sharp psychology insights, and remind yourself daily, real confidence isn't loud, it's aware. 5. She shifts her texting rhythm after spending time with you in person. This isn't about chasing replies, it's about noticing change. After you've spent real time together, an evening, a casual hangout, even a long, meaningful conversation, pay attention to what happens next. Not immediately, not during the moment, but in the day or two that follow. That's where the truth shows up. That's where psychology stops talking and starts acting. If her interest is only polite, Her texting stays flat. Same timing, same short answers, same safe functional tone. Nothing moves, nothing grows. It's like pressing play on the same song again and again, with no new notes added. But when something truly clicks, the rhythm changes. She replies a little faster, not rushed, just warmer. Her messages stretch out slightly as if she suddenly has more to say. She starts asking questions that weren't there before. Not interviews, curiosity, that's the difference. She's not just responding anymore, she's participating. She's carrying the in-person experience forward. Think of it like this. When two people connect face to face, it leaves a residue, a feeling, a mental echo. If that echo matters to her, she doesn't want it to fade. Her texting rhythm becomes the tool she uses to keep that feeling alive, not consciously, naturally. Most men fixate on response time alone. Don't do that. That is surface level thinking. Speed without substance means very little. You must watch the evolution of her communication after face-to-face contact. That's the real signal. That's where you see whether your presence landed somewhere meaningful. Be clear about this. A high-value man doesn't panic over silence. He observes patterns. He notices shifts. He understands that attraction isn't loud. It's consistent movement in one direction. If her energy expands after time with you, that's not an accident. That's interest taking shape. Don't interrogate her. Don't change your behavior to test her. Don't suddenly text more to match her pace. Stay grounded. Stay steady. That calm presence is part of what helps you attract women in the first place. This is also where masculine energy quietly does its work. Not through pressure, not through performance, but through emotional stability. When you remain composed, you give her space to lean in on her own terms. And when she does, her texting rhythm tells the story for her. Be patient. Be observant. That is strength. If after seeing you, her communication gains warmth, depth, and curiosity, that's a sign the connection mattered. If nothing shifts at all, accept the data and move forward without resentment. A high-value man respects clarity, even when it's subtle. Remember this, attraction reveals itself through change. Stillness means neutrality. Movement means interest. Learn to read rhythm, not noise. That mindset alone will help you attract women, protect your time, and carry masculine energy with quiet confidence. 6. She modifies the questions she asks from surface to specific. When a woman changes the kind of questions she asks you, from polite surface-level conversation to sharp specific curiosity, that's not random. That's a signal. Early on, her questions are easy mode. How was your day? What do you do for work? Simple, safe. Nobody risks much. But when her interest turns real, the questions tighten up. She doesn't just ask what your job is, she asks why you chose it. She doesn't just nod when you mention a friend, she asks about that friend a week later, like she's filing details in a private notebook. She circles back to something you said casually, then pulls on it like a loose thread to see what's underneath. That shift matters. A lot. Because now she's not talking to pass time, she's studying your character. She's doing emotional reconnaissance. She's building a map of who you are, what you value, what you're made of when life gets heavy, and how you move when nobody's watching. And here's the part most men miss. Those specific questions aren't a quiz. They're an invitation into depth, an invitation into trust. As Maya Angelou put it, people will forget what you said, but people will never forget how you made them feel. If she's asking deeper, it's because she's starting to feel something, and she's trying to confirm if you're safe, consistent, and real. So don't dodge. Don't joke your way out of it. Don't answer like you're reading off a resume. Match her depth. Give her the story behind the facts. Give her the reason behind the choice. Give her the lesson behind the struggle. That's where connection is built, brick by brick, truth by truth. And in modern life, this matters more than ever because most people are surrounded by noise, quick texts, shallow attention, endless scrolling, and conversations that never touch the heart. Specific questions cut through that. They're a rare thing, so treat them like a doorway. Step through it, speak clearly, be grounded, be calm. This is where old Stoic wisdom becomes your advantage because steadiness is attractive and clarity is powerful. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Be one in how you answer. Be one in how you listen. Be one in how you stay composed when she gets curious. If you want to win in love and in life, you must build an iron mind, not a guarded heart, but a disciplined presence. That's Stoicism win in real time, staying centered, speaking with purpose, and letting your character do the convincing. When her questions get specific, your job is simple. Stay honest, stay direct, stay confident. Answer with depth, answer with calm. Because when she's asking for the full picture, she's not just passing time, she's deciding if you belong in her future. And that's your moment to lead with substance, with strength, with old Stoic wisdom, and with an iron mind that makes her feel safe to come closer. If you felt that shift, from polite surface questions to sharp, specific ones, pay attention. That's not small talk. That's interest. That's her trying to understand the real you. So do this now. Like the video, subscribe, and share it with a man who keeps missing the signs right in front of him. And for the comments, write this line to lock it in your mind. Specific questions aren't small talk, they're emotional interest. 7. She changes how much silence she tolerates before speaking. Here's the truth most men miss, and you must hear it clearly. When a woman changes how much silence she tolerates with you, something real is happening beneath the surface. This is one of the most reliable insights in female psychology, if you know how to read it. Silence is not empty space. It is emotional territory. Early on, she fills that territory fast, talking quickly, smoothing gaps, laughing, asking questions, doing anything to avoid discomfort. At the beginning, she is managing impressions, managing tension, managing safety. That is not manipulation. That is human nature. So don't judge it. Observe it. As attraction grows, as comfort deepens, as connection shifts from performance to presence, her relationship with silence changes. She no longer rushes to patch the quiet. She allows pauses to exist. She lets moments hang without explanation, without apology, without nervous laughter. And that is your signal. Silence requires trust. Silence requires emotional grounding. Silence says, I don't need to prove anything right now. In female psychology, that is intimacy forming in real time. So don't interrupt it. Don't rush to fill it. Don't mistake it for boredom. Be still. That is your instruction. When she sits calmly in silence with you, she is no longer scanning for exits. She is settling in. This is where psychology tricks often fail men, because they are taught to constantly impress, constantly talk, constantly entertain. But attraction does not deepen through noise. It deepens through shared emotional safety. Silence is the test of that safety. Be present, be grounded, be comfortable in your own stillness. That is how to fall in love without forcing it. When she pauses and doesn't rush to speak, she is telling you she feels secure enough not to perform. That is rare, and it often appears long before she says anything direct. Pay attention. The shift is subtle, but powerful. She used to jump in immediately. Now she waits a beat, maybe two, maybe longer. In that pause, she is relaxed, not tense, calm, not withdrawn. This is where smart men separate themselves from confused ones. They don't panic. They don't over-explain. They don't fill the air with unnecessary words. They let the silence breathe. By doing that, they reinforce the very comfort that created the attraction in the first place. This is female psychology in action, not theory, not fantasy, real behavior. Don't chase the moment. Don't label it too early. Don't push for clarity. Be steady. Silence is not a lack of interest when attraction is growing. It is proof of ease. If you master this, you master one of the most overlooked psychology tricks there is. You understand how to fall in love in a grounded, respectful, confident way, and you stop missing signals that were never meant to be loud, only honest. 8. She adjusts her level of agreement when others are watching. Here's something most men overlook because they're listening to words instead of watching behavior, and you must learn to see it clearly. When a woman adjusts how much she agrees with you while others are watching, it is not accidental, and it is not small. Early in a connection, she protects her independence publicly. If she disagrees, she says so. If she's unsure, she stays neutral. That is normal. That is caution. She doesn't want to be misread. She doesn't want to signal attachment too early. But as her feelings grow, the pattern changes, slowly, quietly, intentionally. In group settings, when you express an opinion, she begins to lean your way, not blindly, not dramatically, but deliberately. She reinforces your point. She adds a detail that supports you. She frames her thoughts so they align with yours. That is not submission. That is alignment. And in female psychology, alignment in public is one of the strongest signals of interest there is. Don't misunderstand this moment. Don't overreact. Don't test it. Be observant. Because what she is doing is social positioning. She is saying, without saying it, we are connected. She wants the room to see you as a unit, even before anything has been defined. This is how attraction often moves in real life. Quiet signals, subtle choices, strategic agreement. She is not losing her voice. She is choosing where to stand. And when she stands beside you in front of others, that matters a lot. This is where psychology tricks fail average men, because they focus on winning the debate instead of understanding the message beneath it. But a high-value man notices patterns, not noise. He notices who aligns with him when it counts. Be calm here. Be grounded. This is not the time to puff your chest or push for validation. That would break the spell. Instead, hold your masculine energy steady. Speak clearly. Don't seek approval. Don't change your tone to impress. Let her alignment happen naturally. When she supports you in public, she is testing how safe it feels to be associated with you socially. That is huge. Women don't do that lightly. Reputation matters, social perception matters, and she would not subtly back you if she didn't feel something building. This is also how you attract women without chasing them. You don't force agreement. You don't demand loyalty. You don't corner her into taking sides. You simply show up with clarity and calm conviction. That consistency allows her to choose alignment freely. And when she does, you'll see it not just once, but repeatedly, in different rooms, with different people. That repetition is the signal. Watch for it. You must understand this if you want to know how attraction actually grows. It's not always touch. It's not always flirtation. Sometimes it's social choreography, positioning, alliance, a quiet "I'm with him" spoken without words. That is female psychology in motion. And when you recognize it, you move differently. You speak less. You observe more. You lead without forcing. That's how a high-value man carries himself. Calm, aware, unrushed. That kind of masculine energy doesn't just attract women once. It attracts them consistently because it makes alignment feel safe, natural, and earned. 9. She alters the way she says your name compared to others. When a woman changes the way she says your name compared to how she says everyone else's, pay attention, because this is one of the quietest but most reliable signals of interest you will ever encounter, and it only reveals itself to men who are calm, observant, and grounded. Listen carefully to how she speaks the names of coworkers, friends, a waiter, or someone she barely knows. Then notice what happens when she says yours. If attraction is present, the difference is unmistakable once you know what to listen for. Your name may come out softer, slower, warmer. There may be a brief pause before she says it, as if she's weighing it in her mind. She may use your name more often than the situation requires, or she may avoid saying it altogether because speaking it feels too intimate, too revealing. This is not accidental. Language is never neutral when emotion is involved. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, and when her thoughts carry feeling, your name becomes more than a label. It becomes an emotional object. She handles it carefully. This is old Stoic wisdom in action, meaning hides in what is subtle, not what is loud. Most men hear their name and register nothing. They rush, they talk, they miss the moment. But the man with an iron mind listens for texture, tone, timing. He hears what is not being said. And when you notice this shift without reacting, without pressing, without seeking validation, something powerful happens. She feels it, not consciously, but deeply. She senses that you are present, self-controlled, and perceptive. That recognition lands in her, even if neither of you ever names it out loud. Epictetus said, "We have two ears and one mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." And nowhere is this more useful than in modern dating, where noise is everywhere and attention is rare. In a world of constant texting, shallow compliments, and forced confidence, the man who practices Stoicism understands that attraction grows in silence, in awareness, in restraint. Do not comment on it. Do not tease her about it. Do not ask what it means. Observe. Stay steady. Let her lean in emotionally while you remain grounded. This is how a man masters life and relationships at the same time. This is how old Stoic wisdom becomes practical power. When you train an iron mind, you stop chasing signals and start reading reality. And reality is simple. When a woman feels something, her voice reveals it before her words ever do. Stay calm. Stay sharp. Listen closely. This is Stoicism win in real life, where victory comes not from force, but from awareness, discipline, and quiet confidence. If you caught this detail, you're no longer guessing. You're reading the room with precision. Most men hear their name and feel nothing. You heard the weight, the pause, the softness, the meaning. Comment this to lock it in. I listen to what her voice reveals, not just what her words say. 10. She changes how quickly she reveals inconvenient truths about herself. When a woman changes how quickly she reveals inconvenient truths about herself, pay attention, because this is not small talk. This is female psychology in motion, and most men miss it. When she is simply being polite or friendly, she presents the polished version of herself, the safe stories, the highlights, the parts that make social interaction easy and predictable, and that is normal. That is how adults move through the world. But when attraction enters the picture, something counterintuitive happens, something deeply human. She begins to share the parts that don't make her look impressive, the mistakes, the awkward moments, the fears she doesn't casually broadcast, things she would logically delay revealing. And this shift is not accidental. It is intentional. It is a test, not a cruel one, a sincere one. She is asking, without saying it out loud, can you handle the real me? This is one of the most subtle psychology tricks in modern dating, and it tells you more than compliments ever will. The speed matters. If she opens up quickly, sooner than expected, sooner than socially required, it means she wants clarity now. She doesn't want to invest months only to discover later that honesty scares you away. Don't misunderstand this moment. Don't rush to fix her. Don't rush to reassure her. That is surface-level behavior. That is missing the point. When she reveals something inconvenient, she is not asking for comfort. She is offering vulnerability and waiting to see if you can meet her there. That is the invitation. And here is where strong men separate themselves. You must match her courage with your own, not by oversharing, not by confessing for attention, but by offering something real, something unpolished, something true. That is how trust forms. That is how to fall in love as an adult, not through fantasy, but through mutual exposure. Be calm. Be grounded. Don't react emotionally. Be steady. Let her see that honesty does not shake you, that it doesn't lower her value in your eyes, because what she is truly measuring is safety, emotional safety. Can she be known by you without being judged? Can she lower the mask without losing your respect? This is why men who understand female psychology don't chase validation. They create space, space for truth, space for depth, space for connection. And when you respond with presence instead of performance, when you reveal something real instead of saying the right thing, you signal confidence without force, strength without pressure. That is powerful. That is attractive. That is one of the most overlooked psychology tricks in relationships today. Remember this. Don't dismiss her honesty. Don't rush past it. Stand in it. Meet it. Because when a woman chooses to show you her inconvenient truths early, she is not pushing you away. She is seeing if you are capable of something real. 11. She shifts her body orientation when new people enter the space. If you know how to read this, it tells you more than anything she says out loud. Picture the moment. You're talking, just the two of you. The conversation is flowing. Then someone else walks over. A friend, a coworker, anyone. This is where most men mentally drift. Don't. Stay present. Watch what her body does. When there is no emotional investment, her posture opens evenly. Her shoulders square up. Her stance widens to include the newcomer. Attention is distributed equally. That is neutral interaction. That is social politeness. But when something real has been forming between you, her body tells a different story before her words ever do. She may briefly turn her head or shoulders to acknowledge the new arrival, but her core stays angled toward you. Her feet don't fully shift. Her torso remains pointed in your direction like a compass that refuses to recalibrate. That is not accident. That is instinct. That is masculine energy being met with subconscious priority. Her body is choosing you even while her mind is still trying to be socially appropriate. This isn't about manners, it's about focus. Her body is protecting the connection from being diluted. She is signaling, without saying a word, that this interruption is temporary. But you are the fixed point. Most men miss this because they get distracted by the noise. They start performing. They start competing. Don't. Be calm. Be grounded. A high-value man doesn't scramble for attention. He notices where it already is. That is power. When you stay relaxed while others enter the space, you project certainty. You don't rush to reclaim the spotlight. You don't force yourself into the conversation. You let her body do the talking. That calm presence is what helps attract women without effort, because confidence is not loud. It is stable. Understand this clearly. Her body orientation is not conscious strategy. It is emotional gravity. When she keeps her core aligned with you, she is prioritizing you without realizing she's doing it. That is why this signal is so reliable. Words can be chosen. Bodies tell the truth. You must learn to observe without reacting. Don't interrupt the moment. Don't test her. Don't make jokes to pull attention back. Stay where you are. Stay centered. Let her feel that you are unshaken. That steady presence amplifies masculine energy, and it reinforces her internal sense that you are someone worth staying connected to. This is how awareness separates men. A high-value man doesn't guess. He observes, he doesn't chase signals. He recognizes them. When you understand how attention truly works, you naturally attract women because you stop needing reassurance. You become the anchor instead of the audience. And when her body keeps choosing you, even in a crowded room, you don't need to ask where you stand. You already know. 12. She modifies how she reacts to compliments you give versus others. When a woman subtly changes how she reacts to your compliments compared to everyone else's, you are watching attraction reveal itself in real time. Attraction does not announce itself loudly, it leaks through behavior, and this is one of the clearest leaks you will ever see. Another man tells her she looks great, and she responds on autopilot. A polite smile, a quick thank you, emotional neutrality, because his words carry no weight. But when you offer a similar compliment, and her reaction suddenly hesitates, shifts, or becomes awkward, that hesitation is the signal, not the words themselves. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, what we feel and how we react is shaped not by events, but by the meaning we assign to them. To her nervous system, your opinion now carries meaning, higher stakes, emotional charge, consequence, which is why she may laugh too quickly, look away, deflect with humor, or change the subject, even though she accepted the same praise moments earlier without effort. This is not insecurity, this is valuation. Men who understand old Stoic wisdom know that value is revealed by reaction, not by declaration. When a woman is emotionally neutral toward you, she stays smooth. When she cares, her composure bends. In modern life, where compliments are cheap, attention is everywhere, and validation flows constantly through screens, only the words of a man she respects can disrupt her rhythm. That is why Epictetus warned, "If you wish to know what is truly valued, observe what disturbs the calm." Her calm breaks slightly around you. The instruction here is simple but powerful. Do not chase the reaction. Do not press for reassurance. Do not amplify the moment. The iron mind understands that attraction grows in space, not pressure. Stoicism win is not about forcing outcomes, but recognizing leverage and holding it quietly. Notice how your presence alters her emotional processing. Notice how she becomes more self-aware around you. Notice how your approval carries weight she cannot casually dismiss. Then remain steady, grounded, and composed, because nothing strengthens attraction faster than a man who does not rush to capitalize on it. As Seneca said, he is powerful who has power over himself. This is where iron mind discipline separates experienced men from impatient ones. When she fumbles with your praise, it means your words matter. When your words matter, you matter. The man who truly understands old Stoic wisdom does not seek confirmation. He observes patterns. He stays calm. He lets interest rise naturally. He continues living his purpose, knowing that attraction deepens when a woman feels emotion she cannot fully control. This is how Stoicism operates in relationships, not through tactics, but through presence, restraint, and confidence. Master this, and you do not just understand women better, you master life with clarity, strength, and an unshakable iron mind. If this insight resonated with you, take a second to support the channel. Like the video, share it with someone who needs this clarity, and subscribe for more psychology-backed wisdom about attraction and human behavior. And now, let's lock this lesson into your mind. When a woman reacts differently to your compliments, hesitating, laughing nervously, deflecting, or getting flustered, it's not because your words were wrong. It's because your opinion carries weight. Your presence matters. Your voice matters. That's attraction revealing itself quietly but clearly. Comment to remember and reinforce this truth. My words carry weight because I am a high-value man. Drop that comment below. Say it. Own it. Repetition builds identity, and identity shapes how the world responds to you. 13. She changes how long she holds on to borrowed items. Here's the truth most men miss, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. When a woman changes how long she holds on to something you lent her, a book, a jacket, a charger, something small and forgettable, that shift is not accidental, and it's not carelessness. Don't brush it off. Don't laugh it away. Be alert. That is one of the quietest yet clearest signals in female psychology. Most men assume she simply forgot to return it, but forgetting doesn't last for weeks. Forgetting doesn't leave your jacket draped over her chair or your book sitting neatly on her nightstand. What's really happening is psychological, subtle, and deeply human. Returning an item closes a loop, and keeping it keeps the connection alive. That borrowed object becomes an excuse without words, a bridge she doesn't want to burn, a reason, however small, to see you again. In female psychology, emotional continuity matters more than logical efficiency, and this is where psychology tricks reveal themselves. She may not consciously think, I'll keep this so I can see him again, but the emotional instinct is there. You must understand this. When she hands things back quickly, cleanly, with no hesitation, you are filed away neatly, safely, comfortably. That is the mental category of familiarity, not desire. But when she delays, when she keeps forgetting, when the item stays with her longer than it needs to, she is unconsciously keeping the door open. Be clear about this. Be calm about this. Don't confront her. Don't tease her about stealing your stuff. That is not the move. The move is awareness. The move is restraint. The move is letting the thread remain uncut while you observe her behavior deepen. This is how to fall in love without forcing it, without chasing, without words that scare things away. Men who understand female psychology know that attraction often grows in the space between interactions, not in constant contact. That jacket in her space carries your presence. That book on her shelf carries your energy. And energy matters more than explanations. Psychology tricks like this work because they are rooted in emotion, not strategy, even if they look strategic from the outside. You must watch patterns, not promises. One delayed return means little. Repeated delay means something is forming. Don't rush to define it. Don't rush to label it. Let it breathe. This is how to fall in love slowly, naturally, and with dignity. In modern life, where attention is scattered and connections are disposable, a woman choosing to keep a small piece of you is a meaningful act. It says she is not ready for the exchange to end. It says she wants continuity. And continuity is where attraction quietly turns into something real. This is female psychology at work. This is how to fall in love without pressure. And once you understand these psychology tricks, you stop guessing and you start seeing. Hey, my friend, glad you stayed until the end. Now listen carefully. Once you understand how her behavior changes after she's interested, you gain clarity. But real power comes from recognizing what happens before that. There is always a quiet phase, no big signals, no obvious moves, just subtle attempts to catch your attention without risking rejection. Most men miss it because they're waiting for something loud. Don't do that. Be observant. Be calm. Pay attention to the small shifts, the timing, the effort that seems casual but isn't. That's where awareness separates confident men from confused ones. My sincere advice to you is this: don't chase noise. Learn to read silence. Don't rush. Stay grounded. When you understand the early signs, you stop guessing and start leading.